Hi guys, welcome to Darren's Computing Corner, and today we are going to be looking at the setting up and the testing now of build 2358 of Windows ME. So just as a preface, to set the preface as to what's going on, I've set the BIOS date of this beta because it was compiled on the 16th of August 1999. So I set it for the first of the following month, which would be September. So I set this for the 1st of September 1999. And so without further ado, let's continue and see how this works. I've also got a twist in this video, and you'll get to see that as well. Also, you noticed it says Windows Millennium this time without the addition. But of course, you get to see all that in action right straight away. It's asking for a product key. So join me back in a bit once I've got that sorted. Welcome back, guys. Now that's with the product key out of the way. It's interesting that they put it right at the very beginning of setup rather than in the middle of it, or in some cases of the later systems at the very end. Probably a good job that you did put it into this. So it's a good job you did put this at the beginning, so then it gives everyone a peace of mind that what you're doing is genuine. Right, click next, and it's going to prepare directory. This is a 10 gigabyte hard drive, so I'm kind of curious as to how much space this is going to take up. It's asking for your name and company as well. Next, and this is where we add stuff. We'll obviously include everything, even the desktop themes as well, so you get to see all those. Internet tools, multi-language support, do all the multimedia, and all the system tools. Web TV for Windows is only 1.1 megabyte. When it was Windows 98, it was a lot bigger than that. It would have taken up a lot more than that. But anyway, we'll move swiftly on from that. Just make sure that I've got everything I want. Yeah, I'm selecting everything I always do when it comes to testing stuff like this out. No, you won't, because I'm English, not American. Next. And again, I guess it, yeah, you've put all the main ones at the top. There we go. Next. Don't need a startup disk. I've got a main one. Let me get rid of that. And now we can copy files. Now, the one thing that I want to look at, one thing that I'm intrigued about, is what this does in the second stage of the setup. So with Windows ME, when you're setting that up, it starts off like this, and then it gives you the logo that that system would have as the background. So I would be intrigued to see what this does, because this is a beta of Windows ME. I'm going to include some external hardware. Do not install VMware tools because you'll end up causing your beta to automatically expire because it syncs with the time of the host. But I am going to toy about with something else as well because I found a beta of another piece of software which you'll get to see in this very video. We'll just look at that later on. But join me back in a bit as I take you through the second stage of setup. Welcome back, guys, and here we go. So we've got this bit at the bottom which gives you the build. That is still giving you the same blue background, so that then confirms in my mind that this is leading up to Windows ME, but it's still got elements of Windows 98 in it. I think this has crashed. Oh no, I thought that crashed for a moment. Panic over. Now in the regular version of Windows ME, it's here where you'd be asked to enter the product key. Yeah, let's try again. So in the regular version of Windows ME, it's around here where you're asked to enter your product key. So I'll put that up there. But join me back in a bit as I then take you into just finalising any settings that there are. See you in a bit, guys. Welcome back, guys. You just joined me now as we're up to the copying the rest of the file stage. Oh yeah, of course, I just remembered. With Windows 95 and Windows 98, you set the time zone up towards the end of the setup. With Windows ME, you'd have done that at the beginning. Also, has anyone noticed, when I took you through the second stage of this setup, I was only there briefly, mind you, but did you notice that the font looked a little bit different? Because it's changed again here. Changed back to Arial. Anyway, we're down to 8 minutes. But in the second stage of the setup, it all changed to MS Sans Serif. And I'd say we've gone back to Arial. Still showing a blue screen as a background. Just so I'm intrigued to see. I'm very excited as to what is going on. But join me back in a bit because I'm just going to set the rest of this up off screen. Going to test any hardware that there might be as well because I've got separate hardware as well. See you in a bit, guys. Well, Welcome back, guys. And, well, bad news. I'll give you the good news first. That is, I've got it to run, albeit in safe mode. However, the bad news is that I don't have a CD-ROM, which means I can't do the surprise twist that I had in mind, because that would have been Microsoft Office, and that would have required a chain. It would require a CD. But of course, because I can't do that, yeah, we just have to do what we normally would do. So this is what we're looking at. Windows Millennium. Got that on the side. Can I personalize this in safe mode? Probably not. Oh, I can. Oh, I definitely can. Blue rivets, bubbles, carved stone, circles, clouds. Yeah, that looks really basic. Forests, gold weave, houndstooth, metal links, pinstripe, red blocks. There's the setup. Straw mat, tiles, triangles, waves. I think I have to do this one. There we go. And then we'll just do the usual. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes. And then we'll put here that. Oops, I want to save that. But again, it's not going to let me. Will now. And then I'm going to put it here as well. I'm just wondering. Yeah, I can. And you can save it like that. Which is really rather interesting. Let's get rid of that. I will open up a new WordPad document here. Probably. Because I do want to show you some of the features that are available here. Changing of the colour. I like the look of that. And then you can also insert the time and the date. That's what I set the BIOS date for. And then you've got the time as well. I always set this to midnight, but I'm not going to save it this time because we don't necessarily need to. Let's have a look at the next thing of paint. And this time, rather than write out the system, I'm going to do a text and then write the builds. Instead. You can't do shortcuts to bold or italicize here by the looks of things. But I can add this. If it will let me. Perhaps it will if I do it at this speed. And then I'll just save it at that. And with that, I can then just come out of that. I will try and get this version of Microsoft Office to work, but what I'll do is I'll just move to an earlier system because this one doesn't seem to want to know. But join me back in a bit because I'm going to try something else and hopefully it will work. And welcome back, guys. And nope, it looks like I'm going to be staying in safe mode. And while I wanted to do this sort of stuff. I guess I'll be, yeah, my best friend here would be safe mode. But let's just see. I could play a game, so let's see how this goes. It's interesting. You can play a game in safe mode. Got an ace. 5. Yeah. Yeah, I can't do anything with that. We're doing draw 3, are we? Now, while you're doing draw 3, the first few redeals are free, and then after the third one, you lose 20 points for each one. What I do want to do is change that so I do draw 1. I don't want the time game. I don't want a time gamed either. And then let me change the deck option as well. There we go, much better. And then we've got a 10 and a 2. Now, while you're in draw 1, every redeal will cost you 100 points. Got an ace. Every card you put up to the foundations at the top right hand will give you 10 points, and every card you turn over gives you 5. Be careful, because while you can also undo, it will cost you 2 points for each one. Did manage to beat this game in one on the first go. Still felt that that was a bit of a fluke, but I managed. But I've got a black 8, which is good, because then I've got that as well. 2 of hearts. Jack of clubs and Queen of hearts. No. And that will work. That leads nicely into that 6. I wonder what card I'm turning over next. A 9 of diamonds. Okay, I think I'm going to have to get another card. No. There's a good one there. There's a 5 there. There's the 8. And a 9 of clubs. Oh, we've got a king. Oh, good. So I've got that queen now, and then I can put this over and see what lies behind here. Another king. It's a 5. No, can't use it. No. 7. No. 4. No. Yeah, that will work. No. There's an ace. And a 2. And that frees up the 3 of hearts. That also frees up the Queen of diamonds. That gives me a black 7. I'm going to risk this one, I think. Good move, because that's the black 4, which then puts you down there. And there's an 8, red 8, which I can't use. So I'm going to say bye-bye to 100 points. And hope for the best. Through which in this case it would be to be able to do this in 2. A black 9 would be brilliant here. Got king, another king out, and there's a 4 of spades, which works out well. There's a queen of hearts. A blackjack, there it is. I was going to say blackjack would be beneficial here. All I need now is just a black 9. And one's just turned up. As if by magic. There's the 2 of diamonds. Ace of spades. Ace of spades. You will not preserve your right of refusal. There's the 5. Black queen. Red 7, I wonder. Do we have a black 8 left? Ah, red 6. This is going to be fun. There's a red jack. And there's a 6 of clubs. 3 of diamonds is hidden behind that pile. Five of clubs is there, so I wonder. What we're going to end up doing, because I'm going to lose another 100 points. And they're the only 3 cards left. I think I might have lost that. Never mind, I've got no moves left. What other games have we got? There's hearts, which I'll look at. I looked at that at the last beta. I'm going to swap the games around with each and every new beta that I find. There will be something that I end up doing where because I've seen a build 25 for Windows ME, and I found a build 2525 for Windows XP. What I want to look at now, going to February 2000, 16th of February 2000, and see what this does 4 weeks before expiring. I'm just going to restart it as normal. Do it like that. And there we go. It says, your license for this pre-release software has expired. Please upgrade to the final product immediately. This pre-release version of Windows Millennium will expire on the 15th of March 2000. And then after that, you'll no longer be able to use the software. If it will let me use it at all. Which it probably won't. So I'm going to have to force another restart. And go back into safe mode. So we now have 4 weeks left of this beta, theoretically. It's difficult to do that when you've got no sound. The system tools. Look at that. One thing I do want to look at. See what this comes up as. Nothing, because apparently it won't load. This is what the control panel looks like. So it's looking good. That later becomes the activation logo, the activation icon, namely for Windows Vista and Windows 7. I wonder what the desktop themes look like. Not that I'll be able to personalise much because you've only got 16 bits. That looks really ugly. When you've only got 16 colours. And it still shows up as Windows 98, which is interesting. Yeah, that still shows up as Windows 98, which is really interesting. But there's nothing else left for me to show, so let's move this to August. And then you get to see what happens next. And it says, this pre-release version of Windows has expired. Contact your vendor for a new version of Microsoft Windows Millennium. And, oh, the CPU has been disabled by the guest operating system. Right, I've shut down. I'm going to open it back up again. And then we've got just a black screen, so you don't even have the cursor. Well, this has been an interesting beta to analyse, even though all of it was in safe mode. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.